Jeopardy! Host Ken Jennings has been held accountable for potentially prompting contestants to adjust their answers. Fans of Jeopardy! Claim that former game show champion Ken was preserving his legacy at any cost, even if that meant throwing off new players. Successful game show player Angie Nyquist returned to today's competition as the new Jeopardy! Champ after beating out former title holder Kate Campbell on Wednesday's episode. Angie's, who is a social media coordinator, opponents for Thursday were retired computer programmer Carol Oppenheim and medical student Alex Gordon. During this particular show, Ken, 49, seemed to be hinting more than normal to contestants when they were answering, specifically Carol and Alex. Some fans took that as the TV star trying to prevent the current champ from being a repeat champion like he was. During his reign, Ken had 74 consecutive wins on Jeopardy, resulting in $4.3 million in earnings. Conflict of interest: Ken Jennings, who has a winning streak to protect, should not be hosting this show, one fan explained online. The little man is constantly giving beneficial hints and innuendos to the player he prefers, usually a weak player, while they're pondering their daily double bet, so he can influence that bet and get a weak player within striking distance of a strong player who could be a potential future threat to his precious winning streak record. It's pretty transparent with 5 Game Plus players if you pay close attention. Very corrupt. Ken's rumored strategy might have worked because, in the end, Angie was dethroned. Her competitor Alex is now the current Jeopardy! Champ after his stellar performance during his debut on the game show. Alex finished Jeopardy! With $25,000. Keeping up with Angie. Though Angie was on Jeopardy! For a short time, she made a huge impression. Angie captivated fans with her speaking voice before she stunned them with a triumphant win on Jeopardy! Yesterday. Although Angie is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the way she talks mirrors those who live in Los Angeles, California, or so some fans think. Angie's high-rising terminal voice, also known as uptalk, was reminiscent of certain celebrities who also utilized that type of speech, namely Paris Hilton, 42, and her BFF Kim Kardashian, 42. A fan actually likened Angie to the heir of Hilton hotels thrown online. Angie sounds like Paris Hilton, laughing emoji, one fan commented. Fans not only threw shade at Angie, but also at the show in its entirety. One fan slammed the show for being barely watchable. Irrespective of the likability of today's game show, Angie's last minute that yielded her becoming the new Jeopardy! Champion isn't to be understated. Quick turnaround. During Final Jeopardy! She bet $4,000 of the $4,800 she had on the last question. Her competitors, current Jeopardy! Champ Kate Campbell wagered all of the $6.9 thousand she earned, and Aubrey Gilliran bet $2,601 of his $11.2 thousand. Both Kate and Aubrey answered the last question wrong, causing Kate to end up with $0 and Aubrey with $8,599. Angie, however, responded correctly, doubling her $8K to $8.8 thousand. In a swift turn of events, Angie became the new Jeopardy! Title holder. Over so soon. Kate only was able to briefly relish in her success before she was beat out by another competitor. She took a commanding lead to start the game with a total of $5,200 heading toward the first break. Elliot Kim, the returning champ Kate battled, wasn't too far behind with $2,200 when he picked the category Where's My Food for $800. And was given the opportunity to answer the daily double question. Host Ken reminded Elliot that he had a $3,000 deficit to deal with. On a Jeopardy! Dedicated Reddit board, Elliot explained, Ken first ruled it correct but immediately caught himself and threw it to the judges. There was a 10-minute stoppage where we had to face away from the stage while the judges furiously researched. Unfortunately for me, they couldn't find Baked Alaskan as an accepted variation in any of their sources. Later, after Elliot was starting to regain some momentum, he had the rug pulled out from underneath him when he incorrectly responded to the clue worth $1,600. The champ replied to the prompt, George Plimpton takes out an insurance policy against death and dismemberment in this 1966 book. Elliot answered, "What is paper lions?" His response was deemed incorrect and his total went from $1,500 to a negative $100. Kate then quickly buzzed in and answered, "What is paper lion?" without the S, and was awarded the $1,600. Elliot ended the game with $294 while Kate became the new Jeopardy champ with total winnings of $11,513. On the Reddit board, Elliot wrote to his fellow competitor, "Hey Chuck, great playing against you and Kate. I wish I had stuck around to say a proper goodbye to the group." In the hallowed halls of the Jeopardy studio, the air buzzed with excitement as the latest champion, a seemingly unassuming librarian named Emily Carter, was crowned after a stunning victory against formidable opponents. However, the jubilation was soon overshadowed by controversy as whispers began circulating about Ken Jennings, the show's beloved host and an all-time champion himself, being accused of influencing weaker players to protect his record. The tension in the studio was palpable as Emily stood in the spotlight, clutching her trophy and surrounded by confetti. She was a fan favorite, known for her keen intellect and warm personality. Many thought her win would be a breath of fresh air for a show that had seen several long-running champions dominate the game. Yet, as the applause died down, the focus shifted from Emily's impressive performance to the actions of Jennings, who had been at the helm of the iconic quiz show since 2021. Critics began to question whether Jennings was intentionally guiding contestants who had struggled in previous games, offering them friendly advice that allegedly skewed the competition. A social media storm erupted, with fans and former contestants taking to platforms like Twitter and Reddit to voice their opinions. How can we trust the integrity of the game if Jennings is protecting his record by keeping weaker players in the mix? One user posted, sparking a heated debate among fans. The allegations were serious. Some viewers pointed out specific instances where Jennings appeared to go out of his way to encourage contestants who seemed lost, while he challenged more skilled players with a more critical approach. Clips from past episodes began circulating, showcasing moments where Jennings seemed to give subtle hints to the players struggling to keep up. In one memorable episode, Jennings had been seen leaning toward a contestant who was struggling with a daily double question, seemingly providing them with just enough information to make the right guess. Emily Carter, the new champion, found herself at the center of the storm. Initially ecstatic about her victory, she was soon inundated with questions about her thoughts on Jennings' alleged influence. "I'm still processing everything," she said in a post-match interview. "I think Ken is an incredible host, and I appreciated his encouragement during my time on the show.